Imagine waking up one morning to find the entire world at war. Not just your country, not just your neighbors, but continents, oceans apart, pulled into a conflict so vast, so destructive, that it would reshape the very course of human history. This is not just a story about armies and borders. It's a story about ambition, fear, survival, and the fragile systems that hold civilization together. Today, we're diving into the full history of World War II, how it began, how it consumed the globe, and how it changed everything. To understand World War II, we have to go back, not to 1939, but to the end of World War I. Germany emerged from that war defeated and humiliated. The Treaty of Versailles didn't just end the fighting, it imposed harsh penalties, massive financial reparations, severe military restrictions, and perhaps most damaging of all, a clause forcing Germany to accept full blame for the war. Imagine a nation being told, "This is all your fault and you'll pay for it for generations." The result? Economic collapse, hyperinflation, unemployment, and a deep sense of injustice. Out of that chaos rose a man who promised to fix everything, Adolf Hitler. He spoke to anger, he spoke to pride, and he offered a simple narrative. Germany had been betrayed, and he would restore it.
Meanwhile, the rest of the world wasn't exactly stable either. The Great Depression shattered economies across the globe. Democracies struggled. People lost faith in governments. In Italy, Benito Mussolini had already established a fascist regime. In Japan, military leaders began expanding aggressively, seeking resources and dominance in Asia. The world was like dry tinder. All it needed was a spark. That spark came on September 1st, 1939. Germany invaded Poland. But this wasn't warfare as the world had known it before. This was blitzkrieg, lightning war, fast-moving tanks, coordinated airstrikes, and rapid infantry advances overwhelmed defenses in days. Poland didn't stand a chance. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. And yet, for several months, something strange happened. Very little. This period became known as the Phony War. Armies mobilized, but major fighting in Western Europe stalled. It was as if the world was bracing itself, waiting for the storm to break. And then it did. In 1940, Germany unleashed its full force across Europe. Denmark and Norway fell quickly. Then came Belgium and the Netherlands. But the real shock was France. France had one of the strongest militaries in the world. It had fortified defenses, the famous Maginot Line. But Germany simply went around it. In just 6 weeks, France collapsed. It was a stunning, almost unbelievable victory. Now, only one major power stood against Germany in Western Europe: Britain. Led by Prime Minister Winston Churchill, Britain refused to surrender. Instead, they prepared for invasion. But first came a battle fought not on land, but in the skies.
The Battle of Britain. German aircraft bombed cities relentlessly. London, in particular, was hit night after night in what became known as the Blitz. Families slept in underground stations, buildings crumbled, fires lit up the skyline. And yet, Britain held on. The Royal Air Force pushed back. It was the first major defeat for Hitler and a crucial turning point. For the first time, the myth of German invincibility was broken. But while Europe was fighting for survival, another conflict was expanding across Asia. Japan had been at war in China for years, seeking territory and resources. Their ambitions clashed with Western powers, particularly the United States. Tensions grew. Sanctions were imposed. Diplomacy failed.
Then came December 7, 1941, a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. Japanese aircraft struck the U.S. naval base in Hawaii, destroying ships, crippling the fleet, and killing over 2,000 people. It was sudden, devastating, and decisive. The next day, the United States declared war. And just like that, the conflict became truly global. Now the world was divided. On one side, the Allies, Britain, the Soviet Union, the United States, and many others. On the other, the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan. This wasn't just a war of armies, it was total war. Entire societies were mobilized, factories shifted to producing weapons, food was rationed, civilians became part of the war effort. Women entered the workforce in unprecedented numbers, building planes, tanks, and ammunition. Science and technology advanced rapidly. Radar, code breaking, and new weapons reshaped the battlefield. But amid all this, there was a darker, more horrifying reality unfolding: the Holocaust. Under Nazi rule, millions were systematically persecuted and murdered, primarily Jews, but also Roma, disabled individuals, political prisoners, and others. Concentration camps became sites of unimaginable suffering. This wasn't collateral damage, it was deliberate, organized genocide. A chilling reminder of how ideology, when left unchecked, can lead to unimaginable cruelty. By 1942, the war had reached its peak. Axis forces controlled vast territories, but cracks were beginning to show. In the Soviet Union, Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, an enormous invasion aimed at conquering the East. At first, it seemed unstoppable, but then came winter and resistance. The Battle of Stalingrad became one of the most brutal battles in history. Fought in freezing conditions with fierce urban combat, it turned into a war of endurance, street by street, room by room. In the end, Soviet forces encircled and defeated the German army. It was a devastating loss for Germany and a major turning point. At the same time, in the Pacific, the United States began pushing back. The Battle of Midway dealt a crippling blow to Japan's navy. Then came island-hopping campaigns, Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, Okinawa. Each battle was fierce, each victory costly. In North Africa, Allied forces defeated Axis troops and moved into Italy. By 1943, momentum had shifted. The Axis powers were on the defensive. Then came one of the most important moments of the war, June 6, 1944, D-Day. Allied forces launched a massive invasion across the English Channel, landing on the beaches of Normandy. It was the largest amphibious assault in history. Thousands of soldiers stormed the beaches under heavy fire. Many didn't make it, but enough did. The invasion succeeded, and it opened a new front in Western Europe. From that point on, Germany was being squeezed. From the west, Allied forces advanced through France. From the east, the Soviet Union pushed relentlessly towards Berlin. By April 1945, Soviet troops entered the German capital. Hitler retreated into a bunker beneath the city. As defeat became inevitable, he took his own life. Germany surrendered on May 8, 1945. Victory in Europe. But the war wasn't over. In the Pacific, fighting continued, and it was brutal. Japanese forces resisted fiercely, often refusing to surrender. The cost of invasion was expected to be enormous, so the United States made a controversial decision. In August 1945, atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Two cities destroyed almost instantly. The scale of destruction was unprecedented. Within days, Japan surrendered. World War II had finally come to an end. 6 years of conflict, over 70 million lives lost, entire cities destroyed, nations reshaped. But from the devastation came a new world order.
The United Nations was established, aiming to prevent future global conflict. Colonial empires began to break apart, leading to independence movements around the world. And two superpowers emerged, the United States and the Soviet Union, setting the stage for the Cold War. World War II didn't just end an era, it created a new one. And perhaps the most important thing to remember is this: the war didn't begin overnight. It was the result of decisions, of missed warnings, of rising tensions left unchecked. History isn't just something we study, it's something we learn from or risk repeating. Because the truth is, the world can change faster than we think, but so can we. And that might be the most powerful lesson of all. If this journey through history made you see the world a little differently, stay curious, because the past isn't gone. It's still shaping everything around us. Thanks for listening.